Mozart Concerto No. 4, the introduction. What a great concerto and what a difficult opening for a concerto. There's so much content, so much to be learned from this opening, so I thought I'd make a video. Before we start, be sure to hit that subscribe button so as to be alerted when I make and release a new video. So the first few bars are essentially a trumpet call, and you have to present it as such. Bum, bum, ba bum, 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 okay? It has to have that really kind of grandiose, very pompous-like sound and something that it gets the listener's attention. So to start, let's just learn how to get the sound and articulation for these first 5 quarter note D naturals. We'll strip away the 16th and the grace note and make sure that we can articulate them consistently with the same sound. Okay? So you can play the bowing as it comes, down, up, down, up, down. I don't use that bowing. I use down, up, down, just because I think it kind of gives a little bit more sort of energy to the phrase. So, but I would practice it both ways. Or, just to make sure we get the same articulation, like I said, on those D naturals. Then you can add the grace note and the 16th note. Making sure, like I said, it's articulated and sounds very energetic and very trumpet-like. After that, we have these 8th notes followed by a quarter. Okay? We really want to make sure we get the right stroke. I start from off the string for these 2 notes, but I angle the bow a little bit away from me, okay? But I sort of get the same sound for that A natural, that high A. Then, going forward, these 8th notes. These are definitely spiccato strokes from off the string. You can just practice single D naturals, just working on the consistency of the articulation and the clarity of that sound. Really emphasizing the ring in the tone. This last note I make longer and I play it pretty much from the string. Okay? Getting a nice ending and a proper cadence. After that, we have these 2 slurred 8th notes into the single 8th notes followed by a rest. Okay? I take these as slight retakes. Okay? I like the lift in those notes. I like the articulation. However, I could also see doing it more from the string and playing them a little broader depending on the acoustic of the room that you're playing. So if I was playing with something a little more dry, I might use a little bit more bow. Now that's excessive, but I think in general I would lean towards something a little bit more short and articulated. Okay, that's a little medium, and then we can definitely do short. I just like to make sure that these notes are phrased, bop, bop, bum, bum, and then the appoggiatura into the trill with a proper ending to the trill. Okay, don't rush the ending to the trill because it sounds very obvious if they're all jumbled together with the trill. The other thing I want to discuss is the intonation of this descending line of the D, C sharp, B natural, and A natural. I like to brighten this leading tone C sharp. But if I do that, I also have to brighten the B natural. I just prefer that timbre sound. I like those raised 7ths and 6ths for this piece. It's just my taste. Again, you can temper it, but it's your decision. Be sure then to start the trill from above with that appoggiatura, like I said, and end the trill properly. I prefer this bowing so as to wind up down bow with the B natural, okay, and these descending 16th notes. You could also do these 3 notes slurred together and start the descending 16th notes up bow. Either one is fine, it's just a matter of taste. That brings us to these 16th notes in this passage. Be sure to play these extremely evenly. The tendency is to rush the last 2 16th notes of each 4. Be sure to sort of spread them out a little bit and connect it to the next set of 16th notes. so as to make sure they're all very sort of tenuto and full value and very even. The other thing is the shift down to first position. Sometimes it's not as easy as it looks, okay? I really try to make sure I use that first finger F sharp guide note and do it pretty deliberately. And making sure that I'm really shifting with the bow. And eventually I get rid of the guide note and make sure it's masked, okay? Really shifting with the bow and making sure that your left and right hand are very coordinated. Then going forward, anytime you have repeated notes, you usually want to make a space between the repeated notes. So a tiny space between these A's and these F sharps. Now we don't want to be too dramatic and make them sound like hiccups. I think these still need to be pretty lyrical. So I make these spaces very small. Always making sure that I'm making a phrase at the same time, sort of a question and an answer. Okay, and then these next eighth notes, very energetic, and starting the new sort of mini phrase. A big, exciting run up to the high A natural. Okay, now this passage is not that easy. I really recommend practicing this extremely slowly with good coordination of the hands with the shifts. Let me demonstrate. You can see that I make sure my first finger is ready by the time I play that A natural down bow. Same thing here. Okay, each shift is very, very deliberately played and making sure that the left and right hand are coordinated. Then I speed it up. Okay, then here, really make sure the rhythm is very precise. And then again, the eighth notes like the beginning. With a good sort of brushy spiccato stroke, leaning the bow away from us a little bit. With this spiccato stroke, really be sure to practice these eighth notes and get them to sound very even. You, like I say, tilt the bow away from you, but make sure the height from the string is consistent and the length is consistent. Even the up bows, ups. And then from the string. With an appoggiatura F sharp and proper ending. The last thing I want to talk about is just that Mozart sound. You want to make sure you really honor the sound of Mozart, that operatic sound, even though this is a sort of a trumpet sounding beginning. Really kind of get the right vibrato, the right sort of consistency with the bow strokes and right articulations. If it's consistent, it will be that much more classical sounding. It's so important when you're playing Mozart. Remember, playing Mozart is not easy, and there's a lot of precision that goes into it. So be sure to practice your scales and be very mindful of all the little details. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I thank you for watching, and I look forward to seeing you again.